Welcome to Black Dragon Biker News Network. Biker News, you can trust the Black Dragon Biker News Network family. And as always, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in from wherever it is in the world that you happen to be. It is late night here, 2:29 a.m. I'd like to just go ahead and bring in my guests, Archbishop and Big Bone from the Big Bone Yard. What's up, guys? Good to have y'all, man. Good to have y'all. That's it?
No. Hold on, wait. Let's do it again. Let's do it. See, on the Big Bone Yard.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I'd like to bring in my two guests, Archbishop and Big Bone from the Big Bone Yard. Hey, man, what's up, guys?
Hey.
What up, though?
Yeah. See?
What's up, y'all? Man, craziness out here. In the world, huh?
Yeah. It's doing that.
Something new every day.
And every day, it's just going on and on like a chicken bone. They got it going on like a chicken bone. So,
all the good weather and stuff,
So, as it stands, there's a whole lot of stuff that's come out about this story. With those of you who just joined us, we're talking about the shootout in Red River with the Banditos Motorcycle Club, New Mexico, and the Waterdogs.
Allegedly. No, I'm just playing.
Allegedly, that are not a motorcycle club or anything at all.
Yeah, right.
Allegedly. That they're just some good old boy. They're just hanging out and doing their thing. And you've heard the story before. They're not really being allowed to do their thing. But they've been called biker gangs. This, the sheriff spent a good 15 minutes just gang, just on and on and on.
Yeah, I felt like breaking out the turntables.
Yeah, they're telling me I'm actually catching a lot of shit on for that one on the.
Fuck them.
Right. They tell me in the outlaw circles they've used that as a great meme against me.
Against you? Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's what I've heard.
That's hilarious. That's great.
But in any event, yeah, so they spent, half an hour calling these guys a super gang. And according to the Waterdogs, and we can only say what's been put out.
Right.
And according to the Waterdogs, their side is they weren't gangs at all. They were just victims of a huge attack, and that has gone on for a long time. So I wanted to, they were on, so a couple of our shows that we follow closely, Vegas Profile Stories, which is a new, I don't know how new he is to podcasting, but VPS, Hollywood always gives these places nicknames. He nicknamed me BD, and I just wonder if he nicknamed Vegas Profile Stories VPS or if that's what they've always gone by. But this guy, Vegas Rick, over there at Vegas Profile Stories, has been covering a number of biker stories lately. And then we have, of course, Hollywood. And then there's another new player to the game. So he's been doing a number of stories on Vegas Stories, Profiles, Mafia, and stuff. And you got to go catch him at Vegas Profile Stories. And he's up and coming, 18,000 subscribers. So he's moving. And he's been lately doing motorcycle club stuff, as motorcycle club stuff has been happening in Vegas.
Right.
And so now I guess he's venturing a little further into the biker news. And then there is a new guy by the name of Marcos from Marcos Motorcycle Nation. He happens to be in a club, and him and Hollywood are club brothers. And he has come as a new face on the scene. So Marcos, Vegas Profile Stories, and Hollywood, we're doing some interviews, and I wanted us to take a look at some of the stuff they were talking about over there. And absolutely, I wanted to get you guys 2 cents on it. I wanted some reactions to some of the stuff you're hearing, and I want to know stuff like, what kind of impacts do you think that this will make on the motorcycle club world? I mean, is it going to make any impacts at all? Is it just business as usual? Is everything going to be okay tomorrow? Or are you going to be going into places like Sturgis or whatever, and actually seeing no colors signs for any motorcycle club, 99% Christian or whatever? What do you guys think on that?
Man, you want to go first, Archbishop?
Yeah, I will. I think it's going to, this is the beginning of what's to come. I think they're going to, with the different stuff that's been going on, I think they're gonna start, number one, not having colors being had at these events. I think they're gonna start trying to push some kind of legislation to try to keep us from even wearing colors at all. I mean, I think this is like the precursor to what's to come.
Yeah.
I think I kind of feel like both things. I think the key part of what Archbishop just said was legislation, and what I mean by that is that, see, there's a legislation is the thing that allows certain entities like this to get away with, and for lack of a better way to put it, to get away with saying certain folks can or cannot come in, because your colors are really, that could fall into the First Amendment, like your freedom of speech. And the reason I mention that is because back in 2010, our lawyer for the COC, Jerry T, aka Jerry Theophilopoulos, who's he's a legal assassin, and he sued the Hillsborough County, the Hillsborough County, and the sheriff's department. We got awarded $72,000. The reason he sued them is because we were going to the county fair, and the county fair is kind of a big deal down here, or a lot of places. County fair is a big deal. We were going to the county fair, and the first day that we went as the COC, the Christian clubs got there before we did. They went on in, and then some other Christian clubs were coming in with the rest of us as we're going in. I mean, cops from some of everywhere, different agencies, they all flooded to the front gates. Hey, y'all can't come in here. We're like, what the hell? Y'all can't come in here. Turn around, go back. I mean, they were forceful. They had weapons, like the rifle, the whole thing. Well, whoa, what the hell? So we came on back. First phone call, the chairman at the time called Jerry T, like, rather immediately. And, there was some phone calls back and forth. And so I was telling him, hey, man, here's what the hell it was that took place. Jerry T, the lawyer's head almost exploded. They're like, hey, we're going back. Everybody back. So we put the word out, made it mandatory. Everybody, even some folks that wasn't there the first day, we're going back. So Jerry T had one of those big dinosaur ass cameras, like this big, the kind that go on your shoulder, like. So he's hiding behind a van. We go back. We send in the Christian clubs first. Christian clubs go in, no problem. Jerry T's filming from behind the van. So he goes, okay, now the rest of y'all go in. The rest of us going in, and just like yesterday, cops all come out, and he comes running over there with the camera all up in this guy's face. And the guy's like, hey, y'all can't come in here. Why not? Why not? Jerry T's yelling, why not? Why can't we come in? He goes, well, you just can't. You can't come in here with those club colors on. He goes, well, those guys did. He swings the camera, got some. Those guys come in. He goes, those are Christian clubs. Those guys are okay. You guys can't come in. Y'all a bunch of freaking outlaws and so forth. Y'all can't come in. Oh, you're differentiating between which patch is good and which one isn't. So the guy's answering, the sheriff is answering these questions on the camera, on film. Long story short, $72,000 later, we can go to the Strawberry Festival or the county fair or whichever it is. But there was no legislation specifically directed towards that. Now, with these actions that have taken place, they might put together some legislation that actually has in it.
Right.
Because there isn't any.
Right. So we could be seeing the beginning of some very interesting things.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things that we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk. We're going to have some reactions to some of the things we say. And we've actually got a video of the president of the Waterdogs. We got not video, but we have actually his interview on the show earlier today with Insane Throttle and VPS and Marco's Motorcycle Nation, where he actually is going to give his side of the story. I don't know how legally sound that was, but if you got nothing to hide, I guess if you feel like you're cool or whatever, maybe you do speak. Whereas an attorney would say never speak. Let him do the speaking. But anyway, we're going to do that. First, let's get a play-by-play kind of what VPS found out, and then we'll check that against the story and see if it's real. So let's do that.
Are a club. They're a three-piece club. They are not a 1% OMG.
So he's talking about the Waterdogs. They're
OMG.
Waterdogs, huh?
He said they're not OMG. Yeah.
He's talking about the Waterdogs, and he's saying, letting you know they're a three-piece patch club. And so let's move on.
They're not an outlaw motorcycle club, right? From what I hear, there are men whose old ladies have the patch. They ride together. They ride on any type of bike. They're not one of those 1% type of clubs. They're just a club. Then you got the Bandits. Now the Bandits pretty much have taken over in New Mexico. And yes, now the Mongols are in there, and that's probably where the mix-up came last night, where people were saying it was the Mongols and the Banditos, right? You figure those are the two big clubs. That's who it had to be from. No, it's the Waterdogs and the Bandits. They got into it. Here's what happened. So earlier in the day, the Waterdogs had ridden up to the rally with another club, the Disciples. Now, the Disciples are a Christian-based group, which are supposed to be off limits, right? There's no pressure applied to these Christian-based groups. Now, maybe they're a little loose in their Christianity.
I don't know where he gets that from, but
Yeah.
in reality, all motorcycle clubs on the set fall under the same guidelines. So there's no off limits.
Well, he's speaking. So the thing with this guy, I forget his name, VPS. So VPS. So that gentleman is not a biker. So he's a bit of a novice. He's sort of in trying to get himself entrenched in a world that he may not understand as well. So a lot of his nomenclature, a lot of his stuff is going to be off. So I love the fact that he says allegedly a lot because he's saying allegedly in regard to the story that he's telling, that he's recounting, but a lot of his information or understanding about clubs and how they operate and so forth is going to be flawed. So we've got to proceed with that understanding.
Right.
But call it out as it needs called out for sure.
Absolutely. Moving along.
Or whatever, but they're a fun time, right? That's the type of club I low-key could see myself messing with. And yes, it is a cool ass name. So the Waterdogs are walking down Main Street at the Red River rally. The Bandits had seen this picture of them riding together with the disciples. I have the picture together, right, in a pack coming up. Well, the Bandits already feel a certain type of way about the disciples, so they start to press. Two bandits walk up to a group of Waterdogs on Main Street. They say, "You're going to be a support club for us, allegedly, or you're going to give us your patches right now." So the president, Shady, from the Waterdogs, now this is all alleged, says that ain't happening. You know, words are said, heat's pulled, Shady fires on one of the bandits, hits the bandit, bandit goes down, Shady puts allegedly, again, 3 more into the bandit. Now the other bandit that's sitting there seeing this, well, he pulls out and he smokes the boy that was right next to Shady. Back in the head type of deal. That's what I'm hearing. Seeing this, another Waterdog pulls out and hits that bandit. So you have 2 bandits gone, 1 Waterdog gone at this time. Now Shady, the president of the Waterdogs, is put into an ambulance. He's been hit in the leg, and the ambulance is on its way to the hospital. And this is where you won't find it in the media. So it's one of those things. This, so far, I absolutely choose to back this. This is where the bandits tried to get after the ambulance that Shady was in, trying to get to Shady. They were on their motorcycles. The cops came. I hear the bandits and the police maybe had themselves a little Wild West time. What, Brandon?
No sound.
There's no sound.
I hate it when people come into my feed and say there's no sound. It throws the whole show off.
Can you guys hear me, or is my brother retarded?
Your brother's retarded.
No, I'm retarded.
Okay, my brother's retarded. Coming in here just messing everything up.
Told you.
So they chased down the ambulance. Obviously, it's all over the scanners for Albuquerque, too. They locked down the hospital they were headed to. Bandits were already at that hospital. Bandits were actively on the ambulance trying to get Shady. And that's what we have right now. It all started because the bandits pressed a club that did not want to be a part of what they had going on. And they held their ground. Now, what they're saying is somebody was arrested who's in the hospital right now. I'd imagine that's probably Shady. I'm not going to say 100% until his name actually comes out. But I'm going to imagine that's Shady. I'm not going to speak on the legal case, obviously, if he's being charged with it, on whether he was standing his ground or he had the right, or I don't know the laws of New Mexico that well either. If they have stand your ground, I will be looking into that to do a more in-depth story since so much information has come in. What we do know is that the Bandits Albuquerque chapter president has been escorted everywhere by his people all day today.
Are you in sales? Well, if you are.
Really? Did they do this to me? Hold on one second here. Wow. Okay. That happens. And we are back.
His house, like they're trying to lock down on what's going on. Now, at first, when we said it was the Mongols, I have somebody that I absolutely trust, and I still absolutely trust. Just because he got a bit of bad information does not mean every bit of information that he brings me is bad. It's just one thing. You get stuff wrong. The Mongols actually did not go to the rally. They stayed away from it. because they knew it was going to be cop heavy. It was just going to be a shit show. You know, the Mongols decided that they had better stuff to do. There's been a lot going on in New Mexico that has not been reported on. There was actually a bandit killed like a.
Okay, so from that story, we get that the basis of what he said happened. Basically, there was a altercation based on some stuff that had happened a few days earlier. Guns were pulled, and one of the highlights was that an ambulance was actually under attack, and that's crazy. Like, really? So, from what you've heard so far, you know, I want to get some reactions, Bishop.
Well, man, it's crazy. It's it's a couple different things on there. Number one, from just from looking in on a lot of this stuff dealing with this story, the Waterdogs really aren't a big club. It's just a single club. It's like what 6-7 members in this club.
Yeah.
So why is it that the bandits would be pushing up on them on a club like that? They only have 6-7 members. That's the first thing. But then, like you said, as you know, I don't know, we know a little bit more about it now because we watched the videos and stuff like that. That's the reason why this was going on. But it seemed like it was morally because they just didn't like Shady. I mean, for the most part, they just didn't like him. So it's a little crazy how all this even came about. I mean, like even when we go back when you play the other parts of it, it's kind of baffling as to why they was after just this one lone dude. You know what I mean? But you got 2 people on this side dead. You got this guy who passed away, who was actually, I guess, the president's best friend. They got killed as well. And it's like it still never really came out as to what the actual problem was. And when we did actually hear what some of the problems was, it was crazy.
You almost can't believe that 3 people are dead over some penis measuring. Like I want to hear, you know, the Brinks truck that was robbed. The secret was finally revealed where the money was hidden. Something. I want to know that these families aren't sticking people in graveyards because of nothing. And I'm just not hearing that in all of these recent shootings. Like I was just sure that you were going to get the Nostradamus papers or something out of this. There would be a overarching reason, and I'm not seeing that.
I think, and I hear you, and on the one hand, I absolutely, unequivocally, if that's the right word, agree with you. At the same exact time, and it is troubling. I don't want to discount that at all, but I think what happens is that unfortunately there's a certain level of, lack of a better way to put it, certain level of danger that goes along with when you are a club, and like the Waterdogs aren't even an MC, but they stepped into the arena where there are, these folks that feel and think a certain way, and unfortunately, they were in that environment. Somebody said to me one time, if like back when my very first club, I got approached by what was the local dominant at the time, and I knew how to speak and, carry on and so forth, interact. I had enough understanding of protocol at that point to know how to deal with certain things. And we were having a disagreement. And this guy said to me, hey, he goes, I didn't come into your job and tell you how to, and he was being a smart ass. He says, didn't come into your job and tell you how to flip the fries. So how you going to come into my job and tell me how things are supposed to work on the set? And I was like, yeah. And initially, I took that with the hostility in which he meant it. We went back and forth a little bit more. And he said, but seriously, he says, when you put those patches on your back and you came here and you went there and you do these things, just like everybody else in the set, that means that there's a certain group of rules that whether you signed a paper or not, you've agreed to follow a certain way of thinking, a certain group of rules. And there's certain consequences that come when you're a part of this community. Now, those consequences do not necessarily, I want to be clear, do not necessarily end in somebody having to go to somebody's family going to a damn funeral. Everything don't have to be that damn serious. But at the same exact time, we weren't there. We understand that there is more to it than, there's some dick measuring going on for sure. But, it's like if you don't want, and I hate to say it like this, but if you don't want those problems, don't show up. And my understanding, these guys didn't even have on, they wasn't even wearing rags. I think they were in soft colors, I think.
Or regular T-shirts.
Regular T-shirts.
Right. They was wearing T-shirts. See, that's what makes it even worse though when you think about it.
Yeah, that makes it real bad.
Okay, so then that goes right back to, okay, you didn't like this guy.
Right.
Didn't have anything to do with the actual club that wasn't even wearing rags, that was wearing T-shirts. And you had a function like this where you got, not only do you have bikers, but you got civilians, and you got a bunch of civilians. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, if you had an issue with that particular guy, why did it have to go down there? You know what I mean? Because apparently they've had run-ins before dealing with, with this guy several times before then. You know what I mean? They'd have whooped up on him several times. So it ain't like he was a threat to them. You know? So why did it have to go down like it did there where you had, so many different people there, and let alone you got women, children, you got, people that ain't even really associated with motorcycles. They just more enthusiasts than anybody. You know what I mean? They go into the festival to have a good time.
Right.
And this is what came out of it.
I don't know if we'll have the answers to a lot of this. So we are now on the Hollywood show where he's got VPS, Vegas Profile Stories. He's got Marco from Marco's Motorcycle Nation. And he's got China Doll from their show that they do daily. And about, 2 hours and 20 minutes into their show, the president of the Waterdogs calls in. And I think this is a fascinating interview. And I would like us to look at this and, of course, react to it. And we're going to just start playing it here and see how it goes.
A place that has 3,000 people and try to start up something. And third of all, you guys.
Okay, here we go.
It didn't sound like it from the couple of little things that I heard. You guys are saying that I'm a MC gang and stuff like that. I'm not a gang or nothing like that. I don't wear an RC or an MC or anything on my patches. You know what Waterdogs stands for? The water comes from the living water, which is Jesus Christ. And the dogs part of it is because we're a bunch of filthy dogs trying to chase after the clean water. That's where the name of my club even comes from. Secondly, there's only 7 of us in the club. Do you think we're really going to go into a place that has 3,000 people and try to start up something. And third of all, you guys keep saying that it's about this picture that got taken with me and the disciples. Well, here's a little fact for you. I used to be the president of the disciples. So when I left the disciples, I left on good terms. That's why you see us riding together. That's why you see pictures with us together. When I had a Facebook, you could go on Facebook and you could see all the different videos that we collaborated together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to be clear, first of all, we never said that there was a gangbanger. We have never, those words have never been uttered here. So first, I would like to welcome you to the show. I just want to clarify who exactly this is. This is Shady of the Waterdogs, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. That you misheard that, because none of us have referred to you as a gangbanger. We've all tried to say there's a story that's going to come out, and luckily the horse's mouth is what we want. And so the platform is yours. Can you please get your side of the story out for the rest of the world that's actually listening to you right now? Anything that you can.
Yeah, you got it, buddy. Instead of this, I've been praying for something like this all day. I'm laying here in bed with 3 gunshots in my leg that I don't even deserve. And stuff. This whole thing started 2 years ago. 2 years ago, one of my good.
So we're getting ready to find out from the Waterdogs president's perspective how the whole thing started, and he begins by saying it started out 2 years ago. 2 years this has been rumbling to take place where it does in the middle of town, in front of a couple of buildings on Main Street, inside of inside of a festival with 20,000 or more people there. So listen closely. This is how it all begins 2 years ago.
Good friends that I've been friends with for over 20 years invited me to his wedding. He originally used to ride around with the Banditos and some of the sister clubs for them. Before that, he was in my club. Then he went to go ride with them. Then after he went to go ride with them, they did him dirty. So then he went to go hang out with a different club. And so when he went to go hang out with that different club, then they all got mad at him and stuff. And so when he was going to have this wedding, I told him that I couldn't go because I'm not affiliated with either one of those clubs, and that I don't want to get caught in the middle. You understand?
Right.
And so me and my wife went to this wedding under the assumption that there were going to be no club members whatsoever at this event. And so when I went to the wedding, a couple of the members from this other club ended up showing up. But here's the thing. I've known those guys since they were kids and before they were in any kind of clubs, for one. And two, if I know you and you're my friend, you're my friend. What you do on your time and in your business, that's your business. That's none of my business. I have enough trouble living my own life. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, at that wedding, nobody was even wearing colors. I could send you the picture and you could see it. I'm in a dressed up blue outfit with shorts and a shirt on. And the other guys that were from the other club, they're just wearing regular old t-shirts. Doesn't have no club insignia or no nothing whatsoever on it.
Can you say? Yeah.
That's interesting. They have no colors and no insignia on. So this was definitely personal. You were going after guys you knew. And you know, what do you do if you what do you do if you have beef with somebody and you don't wear your colors? Like, isn't that the thing? Okay, don't wear your colors around it. Well, then you don't wear your colors. Yeah, I mean, like, how less aggressive can you be?
Yeah, I think that was, you know what I mean, by not wearing his colors, you know, he's clearly saying that he don't want no problems. He's
Right.
clearly saying, I don't want no problems. I'm not gonna wear my cuts. You know, I'm just gonna, you know, participate like a civilian and just move around like a civilian, and then, you know what I mean, and hopefully this is gonna be a good thing. You know, this, but like I said, this has been going on for 2 years, so clearly it was a personal issue with Shady. You know what I mean? That doesn't, you know, then came down to what it came down to over the weekend.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But I mean, this is not looking good. I mean, we didn't wear our colors. We didn't even have any colors on, and here we are still being accosted and carrying on. This is yeah, interesting. Anyway, let's move forward.
Marco, hold on. Can you tell us what led to this incident? What happened? And for everybody that is listening right now, this is the president of the Waterdogs, Shady. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so after that wedding took place, you know, usually people that have weddings have a wedding photographer running around taking miscellaneous pictures, right?
Right.
Well, so this photographer took a picture of me and two other guys and a third guy that wasn't involved in anything. And we're all just standing there drinking a beer. It's not like we're collaborating or trying to figure out how we're going to get over on these guys or anything like that. You know what I mean? We're just at the same place, same time. Hey, what's up? How's it going? How have you been? Nothing more. And so after that, about a week later or so, this picture appears on Facebook. And so once the picture appeared on Facebook, then all of a sudden the Banditos wanted to go around and start telling everybody that I was a supporter of that other club and for nobody to talk to me because this is their state. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm not, like I said, I don't wear diamonds. I don't wear MCs. I don't wear RCs, nothing. And so if you really want to know how I even got my patches were blessed by the highest ranking bandito in the nation. So for you to turn around and do what you're doing to me, what does that say about the word of your own leadership? You know?
Again,
So
that's a good question.
You're going
right
against everything that your whole club stands for.
Right.
And then top it off, ever since then, they've attacked me at the lowrider car show where I had my wife and kids with me. They attacked me. They attacked me at the Toys for Tots kid run at Harley Davidson, where there's not only a bunch of other miscellaneous kids running around, but I have a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 13-year-old running around with me that day. And do you think they cared about that? Nope. And so
You only have 7 members.
Red River this weekend, that was the last thing on my mind, was to have any kind of altercation with them. I just finished putting together my bike, and I wanted to try to put it into the bike show this weekend. And instead I got shot, and my best friend of over 30 years got shot in the head and died.
Can you tell us what was happening during the conversation that set it off?
Yeah. So we were walking down Main Street, and some of the wives wanted to go into one of the tents there to look to see what they had for sale in there. And so these two banditos come walking by. One of them told me last summer, because we crossed paths I was trying to go to the Carlsbad bike rally, and so we crossed paths in Socorro at the gas station, and he just happened to have about 30 guys with him that day, and I had 3 guys with me that day. And so even on that particular day, he told me if we weren't at the gas station in front of video cameras that I would be dead right then and there, you know? And so this same guy and a couple other of his guys come walking by me. So I just ignored them, you know? And so we're standing there waiting for our girls to come out of the store. And then two of my other guys came out of the store. And so these two guys started talking to my guys. So I told my guys, hey, come on, you don't need to be talking to those guys. And so when I said that, then all of a sudden there's about 8 of them on scene and stuff, because he had been on the phone the whole time that he was standing there staring at me from the corner of the tent. And so when I told my guys that they didn't need to be talking to him, then they all rushed over to where I was. And one of them started trying to circle me, because what they do, and I've known these guys for a long time, like I said, my club was blessed by the Most High in their club and stuff, so I know everything they do and how they work. And so this guy started trying to get behind me so he could knock me out with a pair of brass knuckles. And so I told him, you're not going to get behind me, bro. And so as soon as I said that, one guy cracked me from the left and another guy cracked me from the right and busted my lip and my teeth and everything out. And so I'm missing 3 teeth out of my right side and my lip. Does that sound like somebody that was trying to prospect or get patched over to you?
So
You know what I mean?
you were attacked first, is what you're saying.
Yes. They bum rushed me.
So what do you remember after? So they hit you from both sides, and obviously you're discombobulated. What do you remember next?
Next thing I know, I was on the ground with these 2 guys on top of me trying to beat me up.
And did they have like brass knuckles and stuff, or were they just was it just fists?
Oh, I don't know what they had.
But go ahead and continue
I
what
was
your
just trying
story.
I was just trying to fight my way out from under there.
Right.
Go ahead.
Whatever I had to do to stay alive. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue your story. We're all going to be quiet for a minute. Go ahead. Continue.
And then after that, then fucking guns started popping off from every which direction. And then the one guy shot my friend right in his head, right in front of me. And then one of my other friends started shooting back, and then everybody was shooting back and forth until it was over with, you know?
Who pulled the guns first?
Yeah. Well, that's a question we don't need. Don't
Not
even
on
answer
here.
something like
Yeah.
that, Shady.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Okay. Are we reporters or not? Are we reporters or not here? My goodness. I would have wanted to know the answer to that question. So guess we didn't get to hear that one. PBS VPS pulled the plug on that, but Hollywood
That was actually that was smart though.
Oh, so where's your? You're softy now? Don't turn soft on me.
I'm not getting soft. I'm saying that he was going to have that dude, his lawyer, if he has one, his head was about to explode because his lawyer was screaming at the screen to shut the hell up, like stop talking.
He doesn't have a lawyer yet, but Hollywood is a gangster, man. He's gonna ask them questions, bro. But man,
on some Perry Mason. Hollywood. I mean, but think about what this guy said though. This last little skit. Okay, so he went to a wedding. He wasn't in colors, and he got approached in. He's been beaten up 3 other times prior to. They show up at Red River with his wife, with their wives, basically just walking around, sightseeing, going into shops or whatever. Gets approached again. And from what he's saying is that, he tells a couple of his guys not to even talk to them. Come on, don't even talk to them. So he's clearly, in my point of view, I think he's clearly trying to stay out their way. You know what I mean? Being the fact that he done got thumped a couple times dealing with them.
Right.
And he's really trying to stay as far away from them as humanly possible because he know they ain't mad at their other guy because they talking to them. They just don't like him. But, you know, and we still ain't got to the reason as to why they don't like him. You know what I mean? It's like that part never has came up yet as to the reason why everybody just does not like this dude. Doesn't make, you know what I mean? That part right there, I think will kind of put the needle in the, well, with a nail in the coffin, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knew exactly the reason why they just don't like this dude. But like I said, he done took a thumping like 3-4 times.
Yeah.
He done
Yeah.
threatened. They done told him that they gonna kill him. You know, a while.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, you know what I mean? I don't even know why he even still hanging around. You know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He wasn't gonna take no more ass whoopings.
Well, obviously.
Hey, I do got to say one thing. We got somebody wrote in. And they made a comment. I think it says Cal. Cal says VPS knows better. He's following West Coast politics, and then he says East Coast cats are too loose. I don't know from where your opinion comes or anything like that, but I think for those of us that are here, I can't even say the whole entire East Coast, but I can definitely tell you if you're talking about the Southeast, it's a different thing. Florida is a whole other different animal. Florida is traditional to the third fucking wait, can we?
No, you've already demonetized.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. But to the Florida is traditional to the third doggone power, and there's so much stuff that I see happening in California that wouldn't fly for a half a second in Florida. I can tell you, real talk, might want to revisit some of your understanding of how this stuff really works. And there is some geographical differences for sure, but you might have missed the mark on that one a little bit, Cal.
Well, you know, California, you know. Did I do that? Moving on. Here we go.
I'm not going to answer that.
I mean, only 7 members, and for them to continue to do this, that's what we were talking about. Is how much
3,000 members there, bro. And here's another tidbit for you. I'm 48 years old and 100% handicapped. So you're telling me that it takes that kind of manpower to take care of a 50-year-old handicapped person?
Can you tell us what happened in the ambulance?
Yeah, there's about 20.
Okay, so this is an important one here because at the beginning of this show, they came out and said the ambulance story. Oh, did I catch you yawning? I'm sorry.
No. You caught me stretching.
They came out and they said that this part of the story was not true, that the ambulance had not been attacked, and that they had gotten that wrong. And actually, we're getting ready to hear from the president. What's his name? Shady.
Shady.
Yeah, we're getting ready to hear that the ambulance actually was attacked. So I think this is fascinating, that they would try to attack the ambulance and get him out of it. So let's listen closely on this one. This is interesting.
Thanks.
20-something of them chasing after us, trying to pull us over and shooting at us and whatnot.
So you're
then that was right.
Hold on, VPS. Were they shooting at the ambulance?
I would imagine so. What else are you going to be shooting at? I personally couldn't see because I was laid down on the board.
Right.
And so all I know is what the officers inside of the ambulance were relaying.
And what were they saying exactly?
And they're calling for backup to meet them at the Taos line there.
Because there was motorcycles following. What did they say?
Oh, I don't know. They were using cop
terms. Yeah.
So,
but to be clear, the people that were on motorcycles, do you know if they were with you guys or were they with somebody else?
Oh, they weren't with us.
Okay.
My all of my people, we were in 2 cars that day because it was raining and hailing. So instead of going on the bikes, we decided to go in the cars. That way, we wouldn't have to worry about getting wet or rained on, because we didn't stay in Red River. We stayed in Angel Fire.
Yeah, maybe they're not a motorcycle club. I wish I wish my bros would be talking about we're not gonna ride because it's raining outside. Boy, they get cussed out 450 ways from Sunday.
I'm trying to tell you,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't quack
Moving on.
like a duck. They don't. They're not quacking like a duck and walking like a duck. These guys, you know. I
No,
saw somebody said that earlier. You know.
no, they're not. They don't seem to be wanting no kind of trouble.
Right.
So we didn't want to get poured on going home, which is another reason why we didn't have no cuts on, as you've heard during the discussions throughout the night.
Yeah,
So
that was something we just learned.
were they
By the way,
pressing you?
hold on, VPS. By the way, you're hearing from Shady. He is the president of the Waterdogs Motorcycle Club that was involved in this Red River rally shooting. And you're catching the Waterdogs side of the story straight from, you're in the hospital right now, aren't you?
I got out this morning.
You got out this morning?
So that's another thing. Instead, they had the whole hospital was on lockdown because I was in there. And so they're trying to get rid of me any which way they could just so they could lift the lockdown at the hospital. They ended up sending me out of the hospital in a taxi. They paid for the taxi and everything. Get him out of here. Take him where he wants to go.
So you didn't have a family member drive you, or they just put you in a taxi and let you go?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Tell them where you want to go.
So just so you know, Shady, we've heard from your Sergeant at Arms' family. He's got 2 sisters that were on our show earlier, and obviously they're upset. They haven't heard. Have you heard from any? Have you heard from any of your guys? Have you heard of from Castillo at all?
I haven't heard from him and stuff, but I've heard from a lot of people all throughout the day. I haven't, since this whole thing has happened, I haven't gotten no sleep. So, and my phone does not stop ringing. So she is definitely on my list to call and stuff. I love his wife very much. She's like a sister to me. And I've been meaning to call her throughout the day. I've just been getting bombarded by all this other shit all day. And then when I watch your guys' show, then I was like, well, maybe that's a chat. Maybe that's a platform for me to get on and clear my name of some sort, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not an MC or an RC or anything, nor do I have any inklings to want to be. If that were the case, I would have just stayed the president of the disciples.
So let me cut in and tell you guys something. And this is for my 99% of viewing audience. I often catch a lot of flack because of things that I'm going to say like this. They say I'm bootlicking and kowtowing and all this kind of stuff. I try to tell things the way they are, not how we would like them to be. And so if I'm going to tell you the way things are, if you think that because when they say look like a duck, quack like a duck, that sort of thing, when just because you are not in MC regalia, you don't put MC on your back, but you're moving like an MC. You got a sergeant at arms, you got a president, you got a road captain. You're showing up where MCs are. You're moving how MCs move. You got a 3-piece patch on your back. You can say I'm not an MC all day long.
Yep.
When they find you in where MCs hang out, when you're doing what MCs do, don't be surprised that these guys are going to come up on you and say, well, you look pretty MC to me. And that's where the issues come in. And it doesn't always do a lot of good, especially in this case. To say we ain't no MC, we don't have it on our backs or nothing, but you're comported like an MC. You got a sergeant at arms like an MC, a road captain like an MC, a president like an MC. Unless you're looking real hard, you can't tell they ain't an MC. So
that goes back to that actually goes back to what I was saying a little earlier, is that when you leave your living room and go, as the guy said to me, he didn't come into my job telling me how to flip the fries, but when I step into this MC world, then the consequences of my actions or that of my brothers or what have you is now up to the scrutiny of other folks. And if I'm not the one calling the shots, it's what it is. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables to consider. I'm reading a lot of the comments and they're kind of all over the place. But the truth of the matter is, when you come into this world, there's any number of things that you have to contend with. There's a risk. There's a risk involved. And don't get me wrong. I mean, this MC world is fun. Yeah, that's why people are into this for brotherhood. You hear that all the time. They talk about brotherhood and the fun and the riding the motorcycle and the girls and the all of that good stuff, right? But there is this other part. There's protocol. There's tradition. There's dealing with dominance. There's dealing with clubs that aren't even dominance. There's beefs. There's personal stuff that people try to turn into club stuff. There's club stuff that get personal. I've heard of people who won't speak to a blood family member because they're in the wrong club.
Right.
I was one of them for a minute, wouldn't talk to somebody because, anyway. But this ain't about me. This ain't about me. No, but
bet you think this song is about you, don't you? Don't you? So
right.
Knuckle Dragon says the way things are, question mark, according to you, question mark, who cares what you think? Well, it's not according to me, because I didn't shoot nobody and I ain't got no dead brothers over there in the place. So it's damn sure not according to me. I'm not the one who made the rules or whatever. I've been around long enough to see what happens. So don't get pissed off at me because I tell you, you know what? If you drink water from this cup, your mouth will get wet. That's an observation. It's not the way things are according to me. It's the way things are according to the way things are and the way things wound up over there, and having to shut that whole venue down and having to make all those vendors go home and all that money that was spent and all the promotions that were done and all this stuff that was lost, and all the lives that were lost because the way things are. I certainly didn't make it up. According to me, no. According to the folks who see what's going on and do the things that they do. According to the fact that if you are a biker leaving that area, the police have said if you're doing 1 mile over the speed limit, they're going to bust your behind. They're going to put you in jail. They're going to do everything they can do. They're going to run you through NCIC and all this kind of stuff. So a lot of this stuff, and Dibber says if it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck, then you're a freaking duck. And I want to say, hey, thanks for Dibber being on the show. And you guys have to check out Dibber in the Win. He's one of the OG pioneers of this genre and someone that I've looked up to for many, 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 many years. And I'm so glad to have you on here, Dibber. I can't speak tonight. Anyway, getting back to the video, moving on.
Biggest clubs in New Mexico right now. You know what I mean?
So, just to be clear, we want to make sure we're clear on this. So the picture of you on Facebook with the disciples is not the picture that they were upset about. It was a picture at a wedding that was another one. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the Banditos are mad of the picture that I took at the wedding. It's a picture of me and 3 other guys. The picture that you guys are showing.
I think I missed this. Maybe I skipped forward, but this is what this whole thing is supposed to be about, was the anger over a picture. Let me back up a little bit and see.
I haven't heard from him and stuff, but
I think some kind of way I might have done something.
So,
So,
Shady,
but to be clear, the people that were on motorcycles, do you know if they were with you guys or were they with somebody else?
Oh, they weren't with us.
Okay.
My all of my people, we were in 2 cars that day because it was raining and hailing. So instead of going on the bikes, we decided to go on in the cars. That way we wouldn't have to worry about getting wet or rained on, because we didn't stay in Red River. We stayed in Angel Fire.
Right.
So we didn't want to get poured on going home, which is another reason why we didn't have no cuts on, as you've heard during the discussions throughout the night.
Yeah,
so
that was something we just learned.
were
By
they
the way,
pressing you?
hold on, VPS. By the way, you're hearing from Shady. He is the president of the Waterdogs Motorcycle Club that was involved in this Red River rally shooting. And you're catching the Waterdogs side of the story straight from, you're in the hospital right now, aren't you?
I got out this morning.
You got out this morning?
So that's another thing. Instead, they had the whole hospital was on lockdown because I was in there. And so they were trying to get rid of me any which way they could just so they could lift the lockdown at the hospital. They ended up sending me out of the hospital in a taxi. They paid,
Oh, so
they
they
paid for the taxi and everything. Get him out of here. Take him where he wants to go.
So you didn't have a family member drive you, or they just put you in a taxi and let you go?
Yep.
Oh my
Okay,
God!
that's-
Tell everyone where you
got
want to go.
killed.
So just so you know, Shady, we've heard from your sergeant at arms' family. He's got 2 sisters that were on our show earlier, and obviously they're upset. They haven't heard. Have you heard from any? Have you heard from any of your guys? Have you heard of from Castillo at all?
I haven't heard from him and stuff, but I've heard from a lot of people all throughout the day. I haven't, since this whole thing has happened, I haven't gotten no sleep. So, and my phone does not stop ringing. So she is definitely on my list to call and stuff. I love his wife very much. She's like a sister to me. And I've been meaning to call her throughout the day. I've just been getting bombarded by all this other shit all day. And then when I watch your guys' show, then I was like, well, maybe that's a chat. Maybe that's a platform for me to get on and clear my name of some sort, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not an MC or an RC or anything, nor do I have any inklings to want to be. If that were the case, I would have just stayed the president of the Disciples. They're probably one of the biggest clubs in New Mexico right now. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So, just to be clear, we want to make sure we're clear on this. So, the picture of you on Facebook with the Disciples is not the picture that they were upset about. It was a picture at a wedding that was another one. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the Banditos are mad of the picture that I took at the wedding. It's a picture of me and 3 other guys. The
Okay.
picture that you guys are showing, that's a picture of me and the Disciples just rolling down Central on a Sunday. That's
Okay.
something that we do regularly.
All right, good. I'm glad you cleared that up because I'll put that out. So I just want to make sure I'm getting the 100% of the story correct here.
On there.
Right. What else did you want to say, Shady? And it's good that you called in, because now you're getting the Waterdogs side out of this. Where are you?
That's what I'm trying to do. Once I heard about this show, because people started hitting me up nonstop, and I was like, "What show?" It's on YouTube and stuff. They keep on talking about you, and so then I jumped on there and seen it, and then I called numerous times and stuff, but it's just ring.
Yeah, we're trying to fix that.
But like I said, I'm just a little hometown guy. You know what I mean? There's only 7 of us in my club. I'll give you an example. In September, our big thing for last year is we all saved our money and we all rode our bikes up the coast to California and back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's my idea of a good time. It's not going to the bars and drinking or going to the rallies and drinking and going and trying to bully other clubs or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're going to take some questions from the comments section, if you would, Shady. Backyard Barbecue, he asked if he was released from the hospital. Does that mean no legal charges?
Right.
Oh, I don't know. I imagine there's probably going to be some coming and stuff. When I was in the ambulance, the cop was starting to ask me questions, and I told him, you know what? I can't even fucking think straight right now. If you want to ask me any kind of questions, then I need a lawyer. Right. And after that, he shut up. So I don't know. You know, I'd imagine at some point they're going to come knocking at my door.
Right.
Yeah.
Where does the Waterdogs go now?
South to sea, and like I said, well, now we're down to 6 after they killed my best friend. You know, we're going to have to reevaluate the situation and see if it's even worth it anymore, you know? Right. When we started it, I'll tell you, like, my club is, I've been wearing patches. I've been wearing motorcycle patches for almost 40 years. I was a disciple for 10 years. Now I've been a water dog for almost 10 years. And before that, I used to ride around with one of the sister clubs for the Banditos for a minute. You know, I've been doing this for a long, long time. Everybody in town knows me, knows who I am, knows what I'm about. So,
Shady, are you worried for your safety and your family's safety at this point from retaliation?
Oh, of course. There's been a black car with tinted windows that keeps coming and parking outside my house all day today that the neighbors have been telling me.
Well, that's the
My wife doesn't want to stay here. My wife and kids don't want to stay here.
What would you tell the Banditos? You got a bit, you know, and they're listening on here. What would you want to tell them to de-escalate this?
Bro, so I've been telling them since day one. Since the first day that this picture came about, I have tried, I've bent over, frontwards, backwards, sideways, every which way I could think of to explain to them that this picture is not what they think it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
They got it into their head that was it, and that's all that they wanted to hear about it and stuff. So after the picture came out, 3 guys came up to me downtown one night. One of them pulled a knife on me that night. That was the first night. And I had 5 guys with me that night. And all of them were packing. So he decided it was probably a good idea to put the knife away. His 2 comrades apologized for any miscommunications or whatever, and they walked on.
Shady, one of the questions is out there is this started because they were pressing you about being a support club, about the Waterdogs. So is that a true statement? Were they telling you need to be a support club and they were going to take your patches, or is that something that's just out there that's not true?
That's just something that's out there that's not true. Like I told you before, my club, when it opened, was blessed by the most highest bandit in the nation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was actually.
I don't know what else I could say about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If the number one guy above everybody else says it's okay for me to do this, then it should be okay for everybody else underneath him.
You should be good to go. Yeah. Yeah. That's how protocol works.
Exactly. When you only have 7 members.
And I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
What other?
I've even gone as far as to call my friend that's the number 1 ranking guy and tell him what's going on and see if there was something that he could do for me down here. And he said, "Oh, you know how those guys are down there." And that was about as that went, you know?
Yeah, I hate that answer.
I've done every single thing possible that I could possibly think of to right whatever wrong they think that I have done, you know? And they just don't want to have it, don't want to hear it, not going to hear it. And they just keep on escalating and escalating new stuff. You know what I mean?
What else is out there that's not true?
Like what?
No, what if
What are you hearing that you say, oh, that's not true at all, that you want to get the story straight?
Oh, you guys said that I was gangbangers and stuff like that. I've never been in a gang in my life.
Yeah.
And it's very important because if and when I have to go to court, that's one of the things that they always bring up is if you have any kind of gang affiliations. And if you have, guaranteed that's going to go right against you, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to put that out there. I've never been in any gang in my whole life.
So I don't see it being a very hard court case. I mean, it probably could be, but at the same time, there's 7 of you. There's hundreds of them. They've already jumped you twice.
3,000 of them.
Yeah.
Right. And they jumped you
And
twice.
they've already been openly going around telling everybody that they're going to kill me the next time that they see me.
Now,
I had a conversation with one of them at Harley Davidson. All the workers from Harley Davidson can vouch for it. This was just less than probably 2-3 weeks ago and stuff. Because one of the ones that was going around saying that he was going to kill me when he seen me, I actually came across him at Harley Davidson, and so we had a nice little chat, if you will. And I told him we're going to end this one way or another right now. We could either be friends and be good, or we're going to fight and get it over with. Because it's not every day that you see them by themselves. You know what I'm saying?
What happened?
And
here's
we
a
shook hands.
Here's a big thing.
We shook hands and went our separate ways.
Okay.
Well, here's a big thing.
He even apologized to me and told me that if he had ever come at me while I had my wife and kids with me, that he was sorry. And I told him, you know what, bro? That takes a big man to apologize. And since you're apologizing, I told him, because when I first walked into Harley and stuff, and he told me that, oh, you don't want to do this. My wife and kids are here. And I told him, when do you ever care when my wife and kids are around, you know? And so at the end of the day, when he was apologizing to me for that, I thought that was kind of a big man of him. You know what I mean? I had a little bit more respect for him after that. And so I told him, well, since you're apologizing, I will go ahead and apologize to you, because I never saw no wife or kid or nothing in there. You were sitting at the table with the salesman by yourself. But I thought we were cool at that point. You know what I'm saying? With him, I thought I was cool, you know?
One thing that I do want to put out there, I see these comments, we didn't ask you or any of that. You wanted to put your story out here for everybody to know. And, we got all these legal analysts out there about setting you up for RICO and crap like that. But this is on your own accord, right?
No, if anybody should be set up for RICO, it should be them. They're the ones that planned this.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that being a very, very real thing.
They've been openly going around telling everybody that they're going to kill me when they see me.
Right. Now, do you got a lawyer on this?
Not yet. I just got home today.
Okay.
Yeah, the fact that he's not on detention, and that that should tell you everything you need to know about where it is at this point. That's from somebody that just texted me, which is right. I mean, I cannot believe they sent you home in a cab. That to me that's shocking, because obviously.
I thought I heard you say something, Bone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I slipped out. I said, that don't mean shit. That don't mean shit. But or that doesn't mean anything. What I mean is that the fact that this man hasn't been charged yet, and I say yet, it doesn't mean he won't be. I mean, and based on what he's saying, if what he says is true, and even then, because we know the way that the legal justice system goes, because they might be trying to, there might be a young prosecutor with the state attorney's office is trying to make his bones, and he wants to fry every single patched or non-patched biker that had anything to do with this.
Right.
He might want to make an example of this guy. There's so many variables, so it is so ignorant for, and don't want to ruffle no feathers, but whatever. It's just not smart to say, oh, he's just going to be okay. He's going to be fine. Legally, you don't know. You don't know. In fact, to be real honest with you, so let me just do the big elephant in the room and the most unpopular statement on considering the environment that we are in, the three of us. In real life, even though it is, I think it's important to kind of do this reaction video. The biggest reaction to this video that I have is, why are you talking? Like, man, you shouldn't even give us the opportunity to have a reaction video because you need to shut the hell up for so many different reasons. You really need to just shut the hell up. And I get it. Somebody said in our comments here that he's a civilian and his best opportunity at safety is to talk. Well, here's the thing. He's not a civilian. He's all but said so. He says that he wears a patch. He's a member of a club. His club is not an MC or a RC. Well, not every club started off as an MC or a RC once upon a time. If he is in a biker environment, RC, MC, whichever, the truth of the matter is, and there's two sides to every story, but the truth of the matter is, hey, he is a part of the life, like it or not. He just is. But in real life, he needs to shut the hell up. But for our purposes, hey, it's fun to watch this guy dig his own grave, metaphorically speaking.
Metaphorically, of course.
Just word.
Bishop.
You know what? I got a couple of things. I've been sitting here just jotting this stuff down here, based on what I've heard so far, and a couple of things hit. First thing, there's three sides to this. You got his truth, their truth, and the actual truth. Now, the question that I'm asking myself is not about what he's saying. The question is what he's not saying. And if you listen to what it is that he is saying, he's contradictory on a lot of things that he's saying. And let me start by this. Now, he said that he was not. Now, he said this numerous times. I'm not an MC. I'm not an RC. I'm nothing. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then why did you get blessed in? You went to the number one, the national number one, to get a blessing. So he ain't gonna just bless somebody to do nothing. You one of them. You know what I mean? He ain't gonna just bless a club that's not claiming anything. You need no blessing for that. If you just riding around and you just got some crap on the back of your vest, there's no need for a blessing. So for the point that you went that far to get that blessing, that means that you are something. Okay, whether you want to admit it or not, you're something.
Yep.
Okay. Now, second thing is, he keeps talking about, where throughout these 2 years, he done been beaten up and got his teeth knocked out and got death threats and got all this other stuff going on. So we know that it's a personal thing dealing with him. But then he keeps mentioning the fact that he's friends with the number one. Needless to say, that could also be part of his problem, because he could be just picking the phone just like he's doing right now, telling us everything that's going on. He could be doing this, he could be dry snitching on them all the time, and they just tired of his shit.
Yep.
That could also be, a reason too. But like I said, this is something that, as you just sitting here listening to what he's saying, like, this stuff ain't making sense. So as you trying to make it make sense, this is what it's coming to. But it's like what he's saying is not making sense. And then also where you got VPS on there and he gave his report prior to, everything that he said is totally contradictory to what Shady's saying. Because everything that VPS said that somebody told him went on what Shady's saying right now is that no, none of that happened. It happened like this. So it basically pushed everything that VPS said completely out the window. Saying, so what everything that he was talking about prior to this man calling was basically BS. You know what I mean? Because he just basically sat there and disclaimed everything that he had said previously. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that's in there that really don't make sense. But if you start thinking about like, okay, like that was my main thing was like, okay, so why are they after him so much? But then once you started listening to what he was saying, he kept talking about the number one. I called the number one, and I did this. And I'm like, oh, okay, so probably you probably been in the number one's ear quite a bit, and you probably been on the phone telling them X, Y, Z stuff that's going on down there. Who doing this? Who doing that? And you basically dry snitching. So they don't like you. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see later on as this story progresses on down the line. This gonna be part of that. Just watch.
Yeah. You're saying read between the lines is what I'm hearing you say. Read between the lines. What he's not saying. I felt that.
Right. That's the key thing. You know what I mean? Like listen to what he's saying. But then too, you gotta listen to what he's not saying. And if you put, the little pieces together from what he is saying, the little bits and pieces as he's going sporadic, talking about different stuff, you can kind of put it together. So the reason why this took place. It's a personal issue, but it's a personal issue based on some other stuff that's going on. And I bet you once this all comes out, it's gonna be like that. You know what I mean? And I don't know why he's really on here talking as much as he's talking. Hell, they don't even need to bring him in to even interrogate him. All they gotta do is pull this video right here and listen to it. Because he's telling everything. You know what I mean? He telling stuff that didn't even have anything to do with what's going on. So he's just talking.
Right. But one can make the argument that, if he believes in his cause, and I've seen so many people go to jail on this, one of my closest friends, but if you believe in your cause and you don't feel like you got nothing to hide, then you don't mind talking freely to anyone about it.
Yeah.
Whichever attorney will say, nah, no, it's not a good move. Let me do the talking. I'm not going to play the whole interview. You can go over here to Insane Throttle Biker News to get this whole video. And also it's on Marco's Motorcycle Nation. And I want to make sure that they have their true props. And I always like to say, if I'm borrowing something from someone or whatever, I want to make sure that everybody knows where I got it from. And also Vegas Profile Stories, a new guy on the scene. As far as the bike, I don't know how long he's been out, but I've just noticed him recently covering biker events. Started with the Chosen Few Wheels of Soul event or issue. That was the first one I ever saw him commenting on, and then I've kind of seen him as things go by. But we are going to look at just maybe a few more minutes of this before we get out of here and see. But it looks like it's still an hour more or something of them talking. Maybe it looks like a long dang time. Yeah, because this is two. Yeah. So we're just going to look at a few more minutes of it, and before we get out of here. And so let me bring that back up and try to get whatever tidbits we can. So moving forward.
So you're in a situation that is
Shooting at the ambulance.
Yeah.
Shooting at the ambulance on the way there.
Yeah.
And they send him home in a cab.
Yeah, that to me is shocking.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm glad we're at least getting the real details and we're getting your side out.
So, to me, that was crazy because Vegas Profile Stories, when he first came on, he said that he had found out that didn't happen. But in fact, it turns out that it did, or that is what's being said. I just can't imagine. But I tell you something. When I was shot in the United States military 40 years ago, or whatever, and the ambulance came to get me before I was transferred to the military hospital, I remembered laying in that emergency room terrified that the folks was going to come get me. But I wasn't in the ambulance terrified. Like, imagine someone pulling an ambulance over to get your ass. Like, we ain't done. No, bro. We need to, I can't imagine. It's terrifying for me. And I can imagine, when these things are developing, Vegas profiles, VPS, he's getting this, he's trying to put out the word, and then he gets it back. Oh no, that didn't happen. He's like, hey, I'm sorry. Then the guy that actually comes on and says that did happen. I mean, it made my eyebrows go like, holy freaking moly.
Well, this was a crazy story, though. So the information as it came in, and so I got to say, VPS, and I messed his name up way bad in the beginning, but VPS, clearly he's doing some digging. He's getting as accurate information as he can, and it seems like he's pretty good about making corrections as it needs to. So good job and kudos to you. And I get it. He's not a biker per se, but he is giving it his best shot to share the information as accurately as he can. But this guy, I'm still going to stand on, even though of course this is riveting biker TV, but man, if I just feel like somebody ought to tell Shady, hey man, because who knows, like Archbishop said, who knows what the real backstory is with this dude and what went down and everything like that. But it seems to me at some point he might want to do himself a gigantic favor and shut the hell up.
It's too late for that. He's already told
it's too late now, but it's too late now. But
it's never too late to start. It's never too late to shut up, though, right?
Yeah,
it's never too
in
late
the future, boys and girls. In the future, should this shit happen to you, shut the hell up.
Yeah, that's your best. Here.
Out, and we're at least letting you say what you want to say, and that it's obviously the world is captivated because this has taken over a national, international scene. So
let me ask you guys this real quick.
Yeah.
Because Vegas Profile Stories cut him off before he.
Yeah, he did.
And I was mad at VPS. I was like, hold up, bro. Are you a reporter or not? Let's get the story. So
I was proud of VPS. I was proud of VPS because VPS may have kept that man out of prison. You don't know. VPS, good job. You want to keep that dude around a little while longer.
Hollywood was hooking him and VPS grabbed him.
I mean, he actually saved him for real because he was getting ready to implicate himself big time.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
He did a good thing by pulling him out of that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He really did do a good thing by pulling him out.
So my question is, as I don't know, what are we? Reporters, commentators? What are we? Is it right for us to step in and tell a brother, hey?
Wait a minute now. Now I gotta say, now look, and we have these conversations on occasion. Black Dragon Biker TV. See, I'm trying to do my Black Dragon thing, right? But you are a legit reporter, biker news. You do it and you do it well. You're one of the best in the business, and I feel blessed to know you and Dibber and Hollywood, and y'all are the best in the business. I would think that myself and Archbishop, while we do some reporting, we're very, very selective about what we delve into, what we discuss, and so on and so forth. You'd be real hard pressed to see us do a first run story about something like this. Reaction, sure, we might delve into that, and even then, but hey, we did a wonderful 2-part story on human trafficking. That's different. Not a biker in sight, except for here's what bikers need to know to help with this problem, because bikers are everywhere, blah, 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 right? But so we're not really reporters per se, but we're going to talk about the lifestyle, the culture, the tradition, the do's and don'ts, and here's how you do this, and here's how you don't do that. Here's how you do things the right way, and this will get you punched in the face. We'll do that all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. All right, I lied. We do it once on Sunday, but you see what I'm getting at. But for a legitimate reporter, like now Hollywood's a reporter. Black Dragon, you are a reporter. Dibber is a reporter when he feels like being a reporter. So some of us, we're going to approach it a little bit different, which is why it's so easy for us to say that doggone Shady needed to shut the hell up.
Yeah. I was like, when Hollywood asked that question, I was like, and I just cracked up. VPS caught himself. No, don't say that. So anyway, we got a few more minutes of this.
Number one, I'm glad you're okay. I mean, I'm glad that I know you got shot and that you're back home. And I know this is a big hill to climb from up here, but it's good that you're on record at least with where you are. So we appreciate you being right here, man.
I appreciate you guys having me on. I just trying to clear my name any which way I can,
Well, you're always welcome on our show and stuff like that. Please let us know what's going on, because I know there's been any charges against your guys?
Just
yeah, like one of my guys has multiple counts of murder against him.
Yeah, and just so everybody's aware, his club is 7. It's too small to RICO, so that's not even a. It's not even a. There's like 5 members, so but
that's wrong.
And not his sister and wife, I believe, were the ones that were calling you earlier.
Yes. Yeah, I'm actually texting them. They're very, very sweet, and I told them that I would try to do everything I can and keep in touch with them. So I'm glad they got a hold of you.
Hey,
a bunch of my other
losing my damn mind.
What?
Man, look, he just. I think that was Marcos that just said, "Oh, they don't have to worry about that. His club is too small to RICO."
Yeah,
that is a bunch of BS. That ain't even close to being true.
I didn't know. I heard him say that. I didn't know.
Yeah, that ain't even close to being true. Look, I can. Me and Archbishop, we stay lawyered up. Lawyer more than we talk to our damn blood relatives, right? So I can tell you, and we do on occasion have these conversations about Mr. RICO, and I can tell you that is not true. They had 7 members, well now 6 members in that club. That's plenty. That's
yeah,
plenty
I guess
for RICO.
right. Yeah.
It actually, guess how many it takes for RICO? 2.
All right, so the hole in the wall gang doesn't have to be all that big.
Nope. Not at all.
It actually come from a hole in the wall.
Takes 2.
It sounds like they're wrapping this up, so let's see.
Their friends are blowing me up about you guys and stuff. My phone just started going off like crazy and stuff. Yeah, you got to check this out on YouTube. They're talking about you and stuff. No, I was talking about me. And then I started seeing, I was, oh shit, this shit's gonna go international now,
No, it's international now, man. And you haven't talked to any other press, have you?
No. Nope.
Make sure you be careful when you talk to them, because they'll throw it in their direction.
For sure.
I'm sure they will. That's why I was straight as I could be with you guys. I told you everything that happened.
Well, we appreciate it. Here's a crazy question for you, Shady. Did it hurt when you got shot 3 times?
Well, how stupid was that?
I can answer that question. Hell yes.
Somebody just texted.
Fucking at first I didn't know what hit me, and then I fucking was walking over to my buddy that got shot in the head and stuff, and then I couldn't hardly walk at all, and then I was like, I looked down and I seen some blood in my pants, and so then I was, oh fuck, I think I got shot and stuff. And then I fucking went over there. I think somebody told you that I was fucking laid out on some steps.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do, Shady? I'm going to take my 38 and shoot him once and see if I'm going to ask him.
Hey, that was a text-in question. So that was not my question. I see I'm already getting a lot of hate in the chat. Shady, how long was it before you said they circled you, you had the confrontation, and then it was all over? How many minutes did this whole thing last?
I'd say the whole thing probably lasted I mean, you never know in something like that, but it seemed like probably a good 5 minutes.
Wow.
That's a long time.
And we've been talking about stuff like this happening, and at the end of the day, you're a man. And when somebody is in front of you and they're trying to pull your manhood away from you, basically, they leave you no other option but to to do what happened. I mean, it just is what it is.
Mhm.
And
I
for
wasn't hearing
7,
about that. 'Cause one guy was trying to get behind me so he could sock me in the back of the head, and then another guy socked me from the front of the head. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, you know
once they
what?
do that, it's on. You know.
One thing
Yeah.
I'll do for you tomorrow, Shady, is I'll cut up this show that way. We can get your side of the story out, because this is coming on a 3-hour show and stuff, and we want everybody to be able to hear your side of the story.
Yeah.
And we really like you to keep in contact with us. That way we know the legal situation that one of your brothers are going.
So, it seems like they're bringing to the end. And like I said earlier, it was the tail end of a 3-hour show that, and I was like, wow, man, this is, this is the kind of interview that you really would hope for if you do what we do. We never get to hear from the others, from the clubs, because normally it's two 1% clubs going at each other. They're very disciplined. They're not going to talk. One of the things, no one talks, we all walk. But in this case, this is not a club skilled at that sort of thing, and the president wants to clear his name and his club's name, and so I don't. He probably doesn't have a lot of sophistication in this, and he's found himself in a very bad situation all the way around. His best friend's dead. He's been beaten up several times, according to him. He's got some teeth missing. He's just had a bad go with these folks, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. But damn. Any closing thoughts,
I'll tell
guys?
you. I just had one. Listening to Shady's last comment. Even though, again, I got to quadruple down on my previous objection about him shutting the hell up, but I will say that last thing he said, the last little bit of conversation they were having, reminds me of a guy who was probably a 1%er at heart, and that's Nelson Mandela. He said, "When a man is denied the right to live the life that he believes in, he has no choice but to become an outlaw."
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that outlaw shit comes to you whether you want it or not.
And
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Sometimes, and you know what? And you have to do what outlaws do.
yeah, you
And
know,
sometimes you're in prison now.
yeah, yeah. So who knows how this thing's really going to shake out or any of that. But if since he's stepped into the outlaw realm, he should, you know, do what outlaws also do, which is shut up, stop talking. You know, but if he's been in the game that long, he should understand that. But
40
then
years.
again, it's like he wants to be a civilian now. He says 40 years, and now he wants to be a civilian. Don't work like that.
Well, you
And if
can be
he's
a civilian, but you can't, you can't be in a club
right,
anymore.
exactly. But then again, I'm thinking about what Archbishop said. Archbishop put up some legit points. What kind of civilian do you know that can talk to the national number one and get blessed in by, as he called it, the Most High? Who does that? Like, how does that exactly work? So if you're talking to the national number one for a major club in North America, you ain't a civilian. It's that, which is, he didn't say that. He hinted around a lot that he's a civilian. I gotta, nah. There's more to the story. There's more to the story. Archbishop said it. I believe him. I have a tendency to believe him because he's all truthful and shit all the time. So
Somebody said is New Mexico tough on crime. I don't know if they're as tough as Texas,
nobody's
which
tougher than Texas except for Australia.
well, Oklahoma, where I'm from, is
Yeah.
just as tough as Texas, if not tougher.
See,
They will electric chair your ass in a heartbeat, or I guess it's the needle now.
question. Wait. Let me ask you a question then. Okay, in Texas, you riding your bike with your patch on. Now in Texas, they can pull you over. They don't have to have PC or a primary, what they call a primary offense, like you running a red light or smoking a crack pipe while raping a hooker or something. You don't have to do none of that. All you have to be doing is riding your bike with a patch on. They can pull you over for that. When they say to you, "Are you carrying a firearm?" And if you have a legal, concealed weapons permit and you got your firearm on you, and you say, "Yes, officer, here's my concealed weapons permit," the officer is going to say, "Okay, well, for my safety and yours, let's go ahead and let me remove that firearm. Where is it? Okay, I'm going to remove that firearm from you." He's going to sit it over there, and he's going to say, "Okay, now I need you to get off your bike and turn off that bike and put your hands behind your back. And I'm going to handcuff you." "What's going on, officer?" "Well, you're breaking the law because you are a motorcycle gang member in possession of a firearm." "Well, no, I have a concealed weapons permit." "Don't matter. As soon as you put that cut on, it negates your concealed weapons permit." So I just detailed 3 things that in other states wouldn't apply, like the pulling you over without a primary offense. That's called profiling, but they do it legally in doggone Texas. Um, Concealed weapons permit. If you ask a person, "Are you carrying a weapon?" in certain states, you can't do that if they legally are carrying that firearm. And this offense is not a felony stop. It's not. If it's a felony stop, you ask that question. If it's not, then you don't. But in Texas, you can. Third thing, you get charged with a crime for carrying a legal firearm just because you're wearing a cut, because those rags negate the concealed weapons permit that you
Well,
legally
if you're wearing a
in
cut from
Texas.
a outlaw motorcycle gang that they've put on the outlaw
According,
motorcycle gang list.
according to Texas, but the thing is, how that's unconstitutional as a son of a gun. I'm no lawyer, but my lawyer is a lawyer, and he says it's unconstitutional.
Right.
But do they do that in Oklahoma? Any of it?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard
We
of it like we hear about it in Texas.
we're gonna have to table this opinion
Yeah.
until we research.
Yeah.
But Australia, I think we can all agree Australia is the worst.
I think so.
We agree on that.
Man, I'm gonna tell you,
Yes. I'm sorry. I was gonna run off without you. Yes, sir.
they had that sheriff sit up there and they called these guys gangbangers from the Water Boys. Called them gangbangers, and they said it about 15 different times in the little 10-minute time that he was sitting there talking. Now that part right there, I most definitely don't believe, because ain't no way in the hell you get me that I'm gonna get my butt whooped on 6, 7 different occasions, and I'm gonna wait 2 years to do something about it. That don't make it. No, ain't no gangbanging there. But the this stuff here, if you think about it, okay, and VPS said it on the other side. With a set of rags, without a set of rags, don't matter. You're a man first, and you're gonna have to. You got to stand your ground. You got to hold. I mean, whether you believe in something, don't believe in something, whatever, you're a man first. So anybody that comes at you crossways or any kind of way, you got right to defend yourself. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that this man was right about what he did. Don't know, wasn't there. Can't really say. Like I said, you got so many different stories out right now, and the truth will finally present itself sooner or later. But, I know me personally, I'm not gonna let you get 5 feet in front of me without me swinging off on you. You know what I mean? Especially if you from another club, when I know that y'all got beef with me. You know what I mean? As soon as you get close enough that I can reach my arm and get your ass, you good as God. That's just what that is.
That part.
I'm gonna talk about that. So when you think about it, like it was a bad situation. You know what I mean? It was, however you want to. We talk about the history of it and how long it rang out and all that stuff. Bottom line is, it's a bad situation. It's a bad situation for those 2 clubs. It's also going to be a bad situation for all the other clubs that's existing right now, because this is, like I said before when we first started, this is a precursor to what's about to come down the pike, because they're going to get to the point that they're not going to take it no more. and they're going to start putting these laws. They're going to start making this legislation and stuff out, and they're going to stop us from having bike rallies and bike functions and festivals and stuff like that. They're going to stop us from wearing our cuts out in the street. You know what I mean? The very freedom that we got, freedom of speech and freedom of expression. You know what I mean? They're going to cut it out simply because of, you know, isolated incidents. But like we was talking about last night, when you have the media and the mainstream media, like I said, I'm not a reporter. Get that clear. I'm not a reporter. I'm a realist. I call it how I see it. You have the mainstream media, and they keep pushing out, and they've been pushing out for several months now about gangs, motorcycle gang, and biker gang, this. For the overall consensus of it is that for people who don't know anything about this culture, only thing that they're gonna hear is gang. And gang, from the time the gangs have started, has been, you know, symbolized as being something bad. So they're gonna use that. So the people who doesn't have anything to do with this culture, all they keep hearing is gang, and they keep hearing, you know, fighting over here, shooting over here, and this going on here, you know. So when they do actually start talking about passing these laws, people are gonna go for it. They're gonna go for it simply because this is what you've been pushing out to them for so long that now it's like embedded in their memory that, okay, this is a bad thing. You know what I mean? I can't. I gotta vote for this. This is a bad thing that's going on. But you didn't really. But like, it also shows on this too, where I was talking about. Bo, you remember me talking about this. Everybody always looks at the end game. What happened at the end?
Yeah.
Nobody never knows about what went on prior to that, before that took place. You know what I mean? This man here actually told it. He basically gave you a 2-year summary as to what all's been going on with him, and it finally ended up with this. You know what I mean? Usually you don't never get that. You know what I mean? No, yes, was he talking too much? Sure he was. But by him talking though, you were able to figure out that timeline as to, you know, how this initially started, and this is what it ended up being. We need to all, as MCs, you know what I mean, we got to stop thinking this mindset that we can continue to do what we want to do and move around and nobody's going to say nothing. You already see it going on in Australia. You see it going on in Texas. All of this stuff is about to come to an head. You know what I mean? So there has to come a point in time that we're going to just have to cut the BS and preserve what it is that we have left, because if not, just as quick as we got here, it's going to be gone.
Yeah, facts. Well said. Hold on. Wait, where's that button? I beat you to it. Well said.
That's what I want mine too.
Well said, brother. I'll tell you, I think that you know, and man, I swear Archbishop always pushes the straight gospel. Because that's a thing. Because I look at Florida, like we used to, like where I used to live, we used to, not we, but people used to call it charming, because you know, the TV show Sons of Anarchy, because there was so many dominant clubs members who lived where I lived, and it was peace, love, and all the above at home, and any craziness happened somewhere else, right? And I'm sure there's different pockets of stuff like that in different parts of Florida, but Florida is one of those 24/7 biker states, you know, and so that's why, you know, the tradition, the protocol, and all like that is like a way different kind of a state than a lot of states in North America, and it'll break my heart if Florida turns into Texas or like Australia or any of that kind of stuff. So we got work to do. Us that are in MCs, like Archbishop said, man, we got work to do. We have to be conscientious about how we move and when we move and where we move. I don't think that that you can't, you know, that we can't do. I don't think that we will stop being who we are. I'll say it like that. I'm going to censor myself a little bit. There's a certain amount of regulation that needs to continue on the set, because it's beneficial to folks. For young men that come into the set, it helps them grow up. And for some cats, if you look at the average MC, the average member of a dominant club is over 35. Like the young guys are 35 and the old guys are God knows what age, because especially they've been in for a while. So these aren't when they come into this lifestyle, but the lifestyle and what they learn as a result of being in these clubs is extremely important. And then also we have to make adjustments for the fact that it's 2023. It's going to be 2024 in a little bit. There's stuff that exists now that did not exist years ago. Now everybody's got a camera phone. 20 years ago, a camera phone was was something you seen on Star Trek.
It didn't happen. There was no camera phone.
Yeah, exactly. There's YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, and there's cameras everywhere. And it's not even about just the cameras, because camera or no, you have to conduct yourself like you're every person that puts that patch on their back, they represent their club. So even if there's no cameras, once upon a time, you carried yourself and you conducted yourself so as not to bring, as we said in the Marine Corps, great discredit upon yourself or your unit or the Marine Corps, right? You move different, and folks don't necessarily always do that anymore. So we got to tighten up. And the other thing, we have to start watching the Big Boneyard. Oh, damn! Did I say that? Well, you know what I mean. You know what I meant.
You can find the Big Boneyard on YouTube at the Big Boneyard 1880 on Facebook, Bone OFF on IG, Big Bone OFFO, and on TikTok, Big_Bone_OFF. Why didn't you just do it all the same way everywhere? Bone,
I don't know.
email is bone.outcast@gmail.com.
I was drinking that day. I don't know, man.
So, hey, listen, guys, I want to thank y'all for being on the show. As always, in just a moment's notice, I absolutely appreciate that. What's your IG, your Cash App, Bone?
Oh, shit. It's shit.
Wow.
I know it. No, it's a thing. It's on. Oh, wait, it's on the thing. It's I know it. It's on the thing. Hold on. It is it's right here, and it says it is. Oh, okay. It's $ Bone OFFO. I should have known that. All right, yeah. $ Bone OFFO.
$ Bone OFFO. If you guys want to donate to his cause, Bone OFFO.
I never get nothing. That's why I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I'm always sending. I'm never getting. But $ Bone OFFO if you guys want to donate to his cause. Mine is $ Biker Prez, Prez. He's $ Bone OFFO. Listen, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming on so late at night. I walked up that damn mountain tonight, Stone Mountain. I walked halfway up. And I got to thank Leslie. Last night, Leslie, just some some beautiful woman, kind-hearted, wonderful lady, walks up to a 6'4" tall black dude with a big, huge dog on crutches or two canes, and she said, "Sir, I don't think you have enough light to get down the mountain on your own." And I said, "Well, yeah, I've allowed it to get dark on me, but I'll find my way down. And I want to get to the halfway point before I come down." And she said, "Well, I will walk you up to the halfway point and I'll walk you back down." And she used her camera phone to bring a stranger down the mountain. That mountain has so many angels on it that if you're trying to get up that mountain, they will carry your ass up that mountain and carry you down. They'll shine a light. It's everything that they can do to help you. God has so many angels on that mountain to help you try to get fit and get skinny. People you don't even know come slap you on the back. You can make it. You can make it. Yes, I know. I didn't ask you for your. What are you doing? Stop pushing me. And so I'm just so thankful, Leslie. Thank you so much. God bless you. Kind angel that just came out of the the clear blue to get me down that mountain, and so I'm very thankful. And I appreciate you guys waiting for me. I was only supposed to be. It took me 2.5 hours to get up and down that damn mountain, and I just want to thank you guys for coming on late with me and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Thank you for your support.
4 o'clock in the morning.
I hope y'all ain't got to go to work tomorrow. Thank you, Dibber. Do you? Thank you, Dibber, for all you've done for me, and for all of your counsel over the years, and just for supporting the show, even when we haven't seen eye to eye on things. I just really appreciate you and love you, man. A brother I've never met personally, face to face. I just can't wait to ride with you one day, probably over in the Holy Lands. That's what I'm looking forward to. Hey, you two, I love you two brothers, man. Y'all have always kept me strong, man, and I appreciate you so much. Archbishop Big Bone, the Big Boneyard, Sunday nights at 7-ish.
No, 8 now. It's 8.
8. We had to change it.
Today now. Okay, Sunday
Yeah.
nights at 8 p.m. You catch the Big Boneyard on Facebook and YouTube, the Big Boneyard, and it's on Instagram and all those things. Here, let me put that back up one more time, so you guys can know where to get it. You can find the Big Boneyard on YouTube at the Big Boneyard 1880 on and Facebook. Bone OFFO on IG, Big Bone OFFO, and TikTok, Big_Bones _OFFO. I don't know why he made it all those different ways. Email Bone, email Big Bone at bone@outcast@gmail.com. All right, man. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night tonight. Okay, or a great morning tomorrow.
Right.
Take care. And I thank you guys all for watching, man, and for taking time to speak, and taking time to put your comments in. This is a sad day for motorcycle clubs. This might go down as that one. This might be the new Laughlin, or the new Waco, or the new this could be the day the tide turned, or any of that, or it might just slip quietly on. But if you see some stuff going on, like from now on, we got to show we can't wear colors here, and we can't do that there, and we can't do that other there, and we start becoming more and more like Australia, which we should be able to see ourselves as clubs and say Australia is just right around the corner. We should be able to see ourselves as clubs and see that, and try to head it off at the pass. Self-policing is important. It's one of the most important, strongest things that there are out there. And if you can't self-police, then I guess you get the bone, the business, and that's what we have to look forward to, unfortunately. To my big 1%er clubs, tighten up, man. Tighten it up, Nationals. Tighten it up, man. Tighten it up. Rein in your troublemakers, because they're making the block hot for us all. I'm Black Dragon. That's my 2 cents. I'd love to hear your 2 cents in the comment section below. We're fighting obesity with everything in us, and that's why I was trying to walk up the as much of that mountain as my body could take, because it's important to become as great, as in greatest shape as we possibly can. One of our guys, Dibber says, the very reason I agree with the coalitions and alliance of clubs we have over here, 40 odd years of helping to keep the peace. We got to do something, and maybe maybe they got it together over there in Europe. We got to do something, man. We got to. All right. It's daytime for Dibber over there. They're like 5 or 6 hours ahead. It's getting ready to be noon or something over there. So you guys have a good time over there in the UK. Loved having you. Hey, my guys down in the land down under, thanks for tuning in tonight, man. Appreciate you. Maybe I'll do some more late night stuff. I'm getting ready to go to bed, because I'm tired as hell. Thanks for tuning in, and get skinny. Good night. And to my brother, Iceberg, Tyrone Glover, we love you, man, and we miss you, and you're gone but not forgotten. Have a great night. And to the families of those folks that lost their lives, we are so sorry that your loved ones are gone. The way that they are. We're sorry, and a lot of you guys don't know about clubs and everything, and you find out this way, and we're just so sorry for your loss, everyone who lost someone, and we're hoping that maybe these lives won't be lost in vain. Maybe something good can come out of it. Have a good night, everyone, as best a night as you can. Find the people you love, give them a hug, and try to find a way to treat your club brothers and sisters like solid pieces of irreplaceable gold. Capiche? Prepare yourself to take the helm as president of your mighty motorcycle club by delving into the pages of Black Dragon's newest book, The President's Bible, Chronicle 1, Principles of Motorcycle Club Leadership. There you will learn to advance your skills in applying the 14 scientific principles of leadership similar to those taught to officers in the United States Naval Service. Available in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. Get yours today on Amazon, Kindle, or order it at your local bookstore. Order your autographed copy from blackdragonsgear.com. Be the best motorcycle club president you can be. Get the book.
Get Black Dragon's first book, The Prospect's Bible, to learn how to join a motorcycle club. It has been an Amazon #1 bestseller for the past 7 years and is required reading for over 3,000 motorcycle clubs worldwide. This book is a must-have for new people venturing onto the motorcycle club set. It will teach you how to prepare yourself for service to the motorcycle club nation and show you how to qualify a motorcycle club to be worthy of your service. Available on Amazon, Kindle, and for order at your local bookstore. Get your autographed copy at blackdragonsgear.com. Be the best motorcycle club prospect you can be. Get the book.
And we'll see you in a minute when we break out the first breakout bag we're going to be looking at is.
Well, let's do yours first.
Yeah, how about you first?